So hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So on this video, I'm going to be showing you guys my YouTube filming setup, and this has been a highly requested video on my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, do follow me right here. I'm just going to be showing you guys all my pre-production processes, the settings that I use, the camera that I use, my audio setup, my lighting setup, and how to achieve various backgrounds on a project. If you guys are interested, then definitely do keep on watching. No. So starting off with the camera that I use, but before I jump into that, I'm just going to talk about the camera that I started off using here on YouTube, and that is my mobile phone. I started recording with this mobile phone. This is the S6, Samsung S6, and this records incredible videos, guys. It records in UHD, FHD, 4K resolution. Awesome. So if you're starting off on a budget, this is something you should definitely consider because you probably already have it. So why waste the money? I'm just going to be doing a quick comparison between this phone and my camera just to show you guys that it is actually something you can work with or start off with. So this is what it looks like on my DSLR camera, and this is also what it looks like on my mobile phone. And as you guys can see, there's really not much of a difference. It's not so bad. It's something you could definitely work with. And also bear in mind that my setup has been set to basically fit my DSLR and on my camera. So when you're doing your settings, put that into consideration and make it work. And I also zoomed in the camera, so that also reduced the quality because I had to stay far away from it because my DSLR is far away from me. So I got this camera in a kit. I got the Canon T6i Video Creators Kit, and this is it. I got it from Amazon for about $650, and it was sold by Adorama Camera. You guys should definitely check them out. They sell awesome cameras, both used and unused. And the Video Creators Kit came with the audio system that I use, which is the Rode Mic Go. It also came with the standard kit lens, which is the 18 to 55mm lens that I'm going to talk about in a minute. It also came with a 32GB memory card, bundle of filters, which I use in protecting my lens most of the time. And it came with a remote trigger, which honestly I've never really used this, probably because I don't know how it works. And also it came with a camera bag, which I think is really handy, especially if you are doing outdoor shoots or you just want to take your camera out. Basically, it has like really large compartments and it's very spacey, and you definitely put your camera, your lenses, your memory cards, your audio system, all that fits in here. And lastly, it came with a cleaning kit, which I think is really useful and really helpful. I've used it a couple of times in cleaning my lenses as well as my camera as well. I think this was really effective and efficient because I got all that I needed in one bundle, so I didn't really have to go out to get other things. Everything I needed was in one single package. So if you guys are interested, definitely do check them out, and I think this will be helpful basically. So moving on to the camera that I'm using right now and that I use in recording all of my videos, and that is the Canon EOS Rebel T6i, also known as the Canon 750D. And guys, this is such an amazing camera. This is a perfect camera for a one-man production. It has a flip-out screen. It means you can see yourself, know what you're doing, know when you're out or in focus. It has an autofocus, means you can definitely know when you're in focus or refocus yourself, and it's perfect for product shots and beauty tutorials as well. It has an image stabilization, which means you can definitely vlog with it, especially with the flip out screen. Works hand in hand basically. So I'm just going to be showing you guys what the camera is like and we share with you guys my pros and cons about this. The only problem I have with this camera is its battery life. It lasts for about 1 hour or less, 40 to 1 hour, and that is why I have this AC adapter. Basically, it's like a battery pack, if I could call it that. I just plug this to my wall and connect this to the camera, and this runs for hours non-stop. So this is very handy. I'm going to be leaving the link down below in the description box in case you guys are interested. This is very handy. It's very good for indoor shooting. So I'm going to be showing you guys how I set my camera and camera settings that I'm currently using, and I'm just going to flip this around.
So I just went ahead to just turn on my camera, and it should take you to this screen right here. So I'm going to also press on the menu button, and I usually don't change any settings right here. I however do change on the next tab, and the only thing I change on the next tab is my movie recording size. I usually record in 1080p, that at 29.97 frames per second because that is the highest recording quality. Then I click on my recording button, and that should take you to this page or screen right here. So now you can play with your frames per second, and the lowest it goes is 30 and the highest it goes is 4,000. But you're never really ever going to get to 4,000. We're just going to stick to this low numbers right here. So now what I usually do before I set that is to know the size of the movie recording size. And since I'm recording at 1080p at 29.97 frames per second, you definitely want to set your frames per second to be double of what your movie recording size is. And since it is 29.97 frames per second, that is literally 30 frames per second, you want to double that. So that is why I stuck to the 60. And now I'm keeping my aperture at the lowest. You can, the higher you go, the darker it becomes. The lower it goes, the brighter it is. So I'm keeping it at 1.8 because I want my videos to be bright. And now for my ISO, you can obviously increase your ISO and for your videos to be brighter. However, it tends to make your videos look a bit grainy, so I tend to stick to 100. So now, further moving on, I also record using autofocus just so it tracks my face or the products that I'm using. And my image quality is always the highest, but we're not using that right now. Now my movie recording size is always at 1080p, and that is at 29 frames per second. And for my auto white balance, I usually just stick with using auto white balance, or I customize it basically, and that is I just take a picture of a white plain sheet of paper. And for the picture style, now for my settings, I like to stick to 3. That's at 3 for sharpness, 1 for contrast, and 1 for saturation. But sometimes I do 3, 2, 1, and that is all. And then you can start recording.
So moving on to lighting, which I think is the most important aspect of your videos. I'm currently using two sources of light, and that is the natural light and the artificial light. I have two big windows, one in front of me and one by the side, and I have a couple of sub boxes and ring lights, kind of like complement the areas that I don't have like that natural light coming in. I got these sub boxes from eBay. They were unbranded and I got it really affordable and on a budget for about 27 to 29 pounds. I can't really remember, but I know it wasn't more than 30 pounds. I got that from eBay, and I got this ring light from Nuba. I got the ring light separate. It's the 18 inches ring light, and I got the stand separate, the tripod separate. The ring light was about 100 and something pounds at that day when I got it. Well, now you can definitely get it for about 80 pounds, which I think is amazing. And the stand as well, definitely get it for like 15 to 19 pounds. And I have about 7 LED lights installed up in my ceiling, just to add more lights to the room basically. So yeah, that is it. So I'm just going to quickly show you guys what it's like shooting just using natural light, which I think is the best option basically if you're on budget and you don't want to waste money. I would advise not to waste money if you have great source of natural light. Do not waste your money. Use your natural light, guys. I'm going to show you guys how it looks with just my natural light. And this is what it looks like just using my natural light. And as you guys can see, this area is kind of dark, which is why I have a soft box here to kind of complement that darkness, because I don't have any natural sunlight coming from this angle. And my camera was set to suit my lighting system, and now that I don't have that in place, I'm just going to show you guys how you guys can work with what you have. So I just bumped up my ISO to 200, so now I'm shooting at 50 frames per second. My f-stop is still at 1.8, but I increased my ISO to 200. So as you guys can see, I have more lights in my room. If you guys still want it to be a bit bright, you can definitely play with the f-stop. I advise you not to go more than 400 with your ISO, or 800 at worst. But yeah, this is how it looks like. I think this is very manageable with just my natural lights. So yeah, that is how you can definitely work with using just your natural light. Just play with your camera settings or your phone settings if that's what you're using. So now I've just changed back the settings to how it was before, and this is it. And also all that depends on the lens that you're using, which is something that I'll talk about in a second. So starting with this lens, I hardly ever use this lens. I used this lens for the first couple of months when I got it, but then I upgraded to this because I love that it has like a bokeh effect, which is something I'll talk about in a second. But this lens is great for beginners, but if I were to advise you to get a lens, I would advise you to get this lens or get a 40mm lens. Basically get a lens that has a really low f-stop, probably from 1.8 to 2.8, stick within that range, or something lower than 2.8 anyways. And this has an f-stop of 3.5. This is the 18 to 55mm lens. The lowest f-stop it has is 3.5, which is not really good because it doesn't really allow so much light into the lens and into the camera. And yeah, it's pretty standard. It has autofocus as well. It has image stabilization as well, which is good for vlogging basically. And I mean, this is not a bad lens. It's something you can work with, but I'm not really a fan of it. I would use this to vlog or to do like a random shoot, but like it's not my like go-to lens, if you guys get what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and fix it just so I can show you guys what this camera looks like. So this is what the Canon kit lens looks like, with the same settings that I had on my 50mm lens, and as you guys can see, it is very dark, so you guys get the point when I say that it doesn't really allow so much light into your filming and into your recordings. It's a lot better now. I just had to work with the camera settings to suit the lens and my lighting, and I'm currently shooting on 30 frames per second with f-stop of 5.6 and ISO at 400. So this is it. This is what it looks like. And like I said, this is also a zoom lens. You could definitely zoom out, which I'll show you guys in a second. So this is a zoom lens, so you could definitely zoom out to 18mm, you know. Yeah, but I hardly ever work with this lens because I'm not a huge fan of it. So I'm just going to swap it back to my 50mm lens. So with this Yongnuo lens, I got this from Amazon for about £40 or less, and it's a total knockoff for the Canon Nifty 50, which is also an on-budget lens. If you guys want to get a lens, get either this one or get the Canon one. But I got this one because it was like 1/3 the price of the Canon one. So I just wanted something very affordable, and I was a beginner, so I wanted something that was easy and something that I wouldn't regret. And I'm totally loving this lens because, well, I love the fact that this lens has an f-stop of 1.8, which I think is awesome because it allows a lot of light into your videos. I also love the fact that it gives a bokeh effect when you're far away from the background, and it blurs out everything and keeps you in focus, which I think is amazing for beauty tutorials and fashion shoots and all that. I mean, if you were to get a lens, I might advise you guys to get this one because I've used this one for about a couple of months, maybe like 7 to 8 months, and I've never regretted this one day. Not one day. I think this is a total knockoff, a total on budget lens, and it's a total dupe for the Canon Nifty 50. So the only problem I have with the Yongnuo lens is that it makes a lot of noise when it's trying to autofocus on you or on the subject. It kind of makes like a clocking sound, which I think is kind of annoying. So most times I have it on manual focus, which I have it on right now. So aside from that, guys, I think this lens is a total must-have if you are on a budget. So for my memory card, I currently use the SanDisk 32GB memory card that came with the Creator's Kit. And you definitely want to invest in some memory cards. Basically, you want to start off with 16GB upwards, depending on the length of your videos. And you want to get a memory card that records about 40 to 80 megabytes per second. You definitely want to get a memory card that can record HD videos so that you don't waste your money. So for my audio setup, I currently use the Rode Mic Go that came with the camera, and honestly, it's such an amazing mic. The only problem is that I sit away from the camera because of the lens that I'm using. So I'd advise that you get like a clip-on mic. I think that's what they call it, a clip-on mic, so that you get better sound quality, or get a mic that can be placed close to you basically, because this isn't really working for me. I need to change this up. This is what it sounds like with the Rode Mic Go, and I'm kind of like 3 feet away from the camera itself. And also bear in mind that I have a couple of light systems or lighting basically installed or set up in front of the camera, so it definitely gets a lot of noise and home sounds basically. And I'm just going to be showing you guys what it sounds like without the Rode mic as well. So this is what it sounds like with just the camera's inbuilt microphone, and I kind of think it's fair sometimes, but I just like going with the Rode mic because I think it just gives it a little bit of an edge. So yeah, that is it. Hey guys, so that is it for this video, and thank you so much for watching my video up until this point, and I hope you learned a thing or two. If you did, comment down below, let me know what exactly it is, and if you still have a couple of more questions, feel free to ask me and I'll try as much as possible to answer them if I can. And yeah, I'm going to be uploading another video on how to achieve various background settings using backdrops and just your environment basically. So if you're interested, definitely do check that out, and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't, so you get notified when I upload that video and the subsequent videos as well. And I think that's about it, guys. Thank you guys for watching my video up until now. I appreciate you guys. Bye.